Good morning, church family. My name is Jason Raychok, and I'm excited to share with you today a timely truth from God's Word. Today I want to talk about what to do when we receive instruction from the Lord. And I'm going to show two examples, one from the Old Testament and one from the New Testament. So I want to start off with a story from the New Testament, and it's from Luke chapter 22. In Luke 22, Jesus sends two of his disciples into the city to prepare the Passover for him and his disciples. And in Luke chapter 22, verse 7, it says, "Then came the day of unleavened bread, on which the Passover lamb had to be sacrificed. Jesus sent Peter and John, saying, 'Go and make preparations for us to eat the Passover.' 'Where do you want us to prepare it?' they asked. He replied, 'As you enter the city, a man carrying a jar of water will meet you. Follow him to the house that he enters, and say to the owner of the house, "The teacher asks, 'Where is the guest room, where I may eat the Passover with my disciples?' He will show you a large room upstairs, all furnished. Make preparations there." And in verse 13 it says, "They left and found things just as Jesus had told them. So they prepared the Passover." So if we look at this passage, I see a couple things. First, I see that Jesus gave Peter and John instruction. Next, I see that Peter and John accepted the instruction that Jesus gave them. They didn't say, "Well, Lord, I don't know, maybe Andrew and Matthew would be better at preparing this, or maybe Bartholomew and Nathaniel would be great people to do this." No, they accepted the task that Jesus had gave them. Next, they then clarified the task that Jesus gave them. Jesus said, "Go and prepare the Passover." So they asked, "Where should we prepare?" And then fourth, they followed through once they received those instructions from the Lord. So that kind of shows me a little progression, that when we hear from God, we need to accept, clarify, and then follow through. So let's kind of look at the story in the Old Testament, and we'll kind of see that same progression. So in 2 Samuel chapter 5, David is fighting the Philistines who are attacking Israel. So as they were attacking one day, David inquired of the Lord to see if he would beat them. And the Lord told him that he would win and be successful, and he also told David how to attack. He told him to attack the Philistines from the rear. So David did that, and he was victorious. So in both instances, we see how when people inquire of the Lord, he will give them more information to help them complete their tasks. So sometimes when God tells us to do something, we may feel like, "I don't know, Lord, it's a little confusing, I'm not quite sure, I could do it this way or that way." Most likely that's may not be the case. I think that when God gives us instructions, He's pretty clear about it. And if we're unsure, then we can ask for clarification. Going back to the story of Jesus and the Passover. Jesus told his disciples to find a man carrying water. Now, back in those days, it was a woman's job to collect the water from the well and bring it back. So having a man collect water and carrying it back would stick out. It's kind of like trying to find a basketball player in a room full of horse jockeys. The horse jockeys are all short and this basketball player is 7 feet tall. It's going to be really, really easy to spot him. So it was going to be really easy to find a man carrying water. Jesus didn't give his disciples any kind of confusing instructions. They were clear and they were easy to follow. So while I was reflecting on this a while back, I realized that, again, sometimes the instructions from God may seem weird or difficult, but if we stop to think about it or to ask God for clarification, most likely it's not going to be that hard. And it's going to be really simple as what we should do. The problem is we are just afraid to follow through and to do what it is that God has given us to do. So for us, maybe God is telling us that we need to talk to a family member that we haven't talked to in a while. Maybe we need to forgive someone. Maybe we need to witness to someone. And God has clearly spoken to us and we haven't acted on it yet for one reason or another. If you're confused, I would encourage you to pray and ask God for clarification. Accept that God has given you a task and just ask Him for clarification, and then once He has, follow through on it. God's instructions aren't going to be complicated, and when we ask for clarification, they'll be easy to follow through. They won't be confusing and they won't be difficult. So again, I want to leave you with, when we receive instructions from God, accept the instruction, clarify, and then follow through. God bless.